Work with John Brown in the gym. From the start, he's always impressed on us the importance of using the punch mitts. The reason that is that when used correctly, both as an offensive and defensive tool, they simulate like a calculated sparring. It allows the coach the ability to interact more with his fighter. Otherwise they could just be hitting the heavy bag.
Exactly. The interaction is the key. A lot of times when coaches witness their boxers in competition or in sparring, they're outside the ring looking on from the corner or whatnot. The mitts is one of the few tools that actually allows you to step in the ring with your boxer, be face to face with him or her, and recognize firsthand those mistakes that they're making and use that knowledge to capitalize them and improve.
Right. It also gives you, working with the mitts gives you the ability to move a little more. If you're working on the heavy bag, you do have 360 degrees of movement around the bag, but it's very seldom your opponent is going to stay in one spot while you work around him. So the mitts can give you some angles to work off of. It can help you teach your fighters to punch while moving forward, while moving back, while being pressed. It also gives your fighters a sense of when they get in the ring what the tempo is going to be like and about. You can set different paces for them to work on, and this also plays into using the mitts as a conditioning tool.
Absolutely, a conditioning tool. The mitts sometimes overlooked in that regard. I see a lot of coaches sometimes standing in front of their boxer and allowing 20-30 seconds to elapse in between combinations. I don't think that's a productive way to work the mitts. It should be done, as Doug mentioned earlier, as simulated sparring. In the ring, combination after combination, moving the head, counter punching, incorporating all the things that you practice throughout the day in the gym, and making it a more rounded workout. You won't only learn the techniques that you're presently working on, but at the same time you'll gain endurance and be able to better prepare for what you're going to face in the ring.
Right. Now we're going to show you veteran trainer Ken Adams. You'll see him here working with a couple of boxers, and I want you to notice that as he goes through this, he really incorporates a lot of movement, works with an intensity, and sets a demanding pace that his fighters have to keep up with. This is a good way of doing that.
Got it now. One, go back. There we go. All the way up. Right hand, hook right hand now. There we go. One, two, now. One, two, now. One, two, again. Now. Good now. One, two, now. Good now. Left hand under, right hand on the top now. You pull that foot back. Don't pull it back, baby. This is right. Pull it back. There we go. Same thing now. Right hand. There you go. That's this side. Next time you go one to the right. Left hand underneath, right hand on top. Left hook back on top together. That's now. Double right hand now. Double right hand hook now. Double hand hook, little sharp. That's a strong right hook. Right hand hook. And pull back. Keep doing this. Right hand hook, step on hook right hand now. So you get out of position. You can't get out of position to jump. That's why I say stay in position. Just rock the shift and rotate. There you go. Here we go. Pick up. Right hand hook, right hand. Good, good. Now. Give it up. Go to the back now. Go to the right now. Right over, yes. All right. Now. Now to the Change up on everything you do. Don't ever do a lot of the same thing over and over and over again. Okay? Change up. Don't wait for that. Oh, he just here does this, we got to hand out. So those are things that you know. How about that? Get him up. Turn the ball over. Let's go. There you go. That's what I know. There you go. Straight up. There you go. Right hand right here. There you go. There you go. 1, 2, right again. There you go. You're right in the pocket. How about there? How about there? How about there? There you go. Good jab. Down and up with the jab. Down and up with the jab. I want you to go down and up. Pick and hook on this one, okay? This way. There way. There we go. Well, don't move the leg further. Keep picking up. There we go. Step out too far. Step around. Put it down here. Here we go. Well. There you go. Now back right hand. Let's go. That'll work. And pop it there. There we go. Right hand. There you go. 1, 2. 1, 2. Catch the jab, throw it there. Catch the jab, throw it there. Now you double up. Now you double up. Now you double up. Now you triple up. Double up. Double up. That's all right. It's all right. Touch it. 1, 2, right here, right off that. Well, Vince Phillips in the present time, he's getting ready to fight a young man that's a left-hander. So we're working on some left-hand work, and I basically got him turning shots to the body, back on top, right hand underneath, right hand on the top, back with left hook underneath, back over the top, back with a short right hand. The mitts, basically they're a tool for teaching the jab, the right hand, the hook. They're a good tool also, I think, for making the missing punches, learning the guy to work on his defense. And that's basically what I use it for, and especially in preparation for a fight. You imitate the other guy. You imitate him, you give this guy something closer to work on, and that's the basic thing for teaching with that. The guy in the left hand, you switch to the left hand and throw the punch that he throws. Allow him to come back with the punches that's going to put him in a position to hit him. And that's the key. And I think that's one of a lot of problems that people don't do enough of. They don't look at tape and use strategy for fights. It's very, very important to strategize and fight. You need to do that. I mean, the guy has a strong right hand, that means I want him to move away from the right hand, and it's just my advantage to do that, and that's what you should do. But a lot of people don't have that. I see that they don't understand how to do that, because even so, if you don't know about a guy, after the first round or two, the simple thing for you to do is look at his things that he does real good and take his strengths away from him, and that's the key in really teaching and doing boxing. And I think the mitts are used for that. At the same time, use it for basic punching. That's what strictly what the mitts are for.
Okay, again, the mitts are an important facet of our training routine here at ringside. There are several ways that we use the mitts for our boxers to gain cardiovascular and muscular endurance. One method is the interval training.
Interval training, like the name implies, is very similar to many people's running programs, with involving periods of high intensity, speed, power, and then mixing in periods of more subtle movements, at a more moderate pace, just to bring the heart rate down, and then bursting into sprints, if you will. These sprints, so to speak, are built to simulate the high intensity periods that occur when in competition.
The next exercise we have is called count drills.
Good.
This helps the boxer with his muscular conditioning and improves the velocity of punches he throws. This gets him used to throwing a lot of punches per round. You can also incorporate a second boxer into it, or a third if you like.
Good. 6.
This helps the coach work with more than one guy at a time.
Good. 2. 4. 4.
And it also is more of a type of interval training.
8. Good. 6. Good. 6. 9. 9. 4. 4.
Following that, we have the butterfly and the bee drill. This is good for speed of hand and foot, both. Especially good. Albert's got some speed here. He's a little quicker on his feet, a little lighter. It makes Oman really have to move to keep up with him. It's a great drill for the time when your boxer will encounter a runner. This type of drill really demands that Omran, or your chaser, really cuts off the ring. There's some days when we'll do this for several rounds just to really incorporate and focus on speed as opposed to power. In all the mitt work we do in the gym, we try to incorporate movement, intensity, working in combinations, working on both offense and defense. I mean, I know you've all seen the coaches that stand with the mitts and they look like Frankenstein wandering around the gym, just 1, 2, 1, 2. That's not really going to help your guy progress at all. I mean, ideally, you can acquire a fluidity of motion in all your mitt work. This allows your boxer to acquire the ability to throw punches in combinations, and basically it just gets him accustomed to letting his hands go.
Absolutely. Former lightweight champion Roger Mayweather has incorporated his fluid style in the ring into an interactive mitt routine that makes his boxers think, counterpunch, and definitely hit like a champion. He's definitely one of the best trainers in the world today, and this following footage will demonstrate that.
Kids. Turn more. Roll back. Go in. Turn. Turn back. Turn. Drop, turn. Turn back. Spin in. Pull back. Roll. In. Out. Pull. In. Out. Pull. So 1, 2. Back to look. We go off balance. 1, 2. Roll back in. Back. Pull. Turn. Roll back. Pull back. In. Out. Back. Pull. Roll back. Pull your legs. Roll back. Roll back. Roll back. Touch me. Up here. My head on the shoulder. Roll back. Touch. Roll. Roll back. Touch me. Roll back. Touch. Me. Touch. Touch. Me. Touch. Go. Go back. Go back. Go back. Sit through. Go back. Go in. Back. Pull. In. Out. Catch it. Catch it. Turn me. Go back. Go in. Back. Catch touch. Okay. Catch the body. Tip over. Tip over. Yeah, tip the body over first. Relax your toe up. Hand raise in. Roll back. Roll. Roll back and move your feet. Go in. Relax. Pull. Roll. In. Back. Turn. Turn me. Drop. Roll back. Turn back. Roll back. Drop and roll back. And drop it back, roll back.